Hi, I'm Kayla Rose from Saving Escape, and this is my Be Different Spotlight.
I was 5 and he was 6. We rode horses made of sticks. He wore black and I wore white. He would always win the fight. Bang, bang. He shot me down. Bang, bang. I hit the ground. Bang, bang. That awful sound. Bang, bang. My baby shot me down. Captured image, you left your mark on me, casting shadows of what I'm supposed to be. Picture perfect, all cropped up and cut out. It might be worth it, but I still have my doubts. Oh, you can One more. Thanks.
We're here with Kayla Rose, who we just got to hear play a couple of her original songs along with Saving Escape, and that was tremendous. So thank you for that. So first and foremost, how do people find you? How do they find your music? How do they find your page?
Yeah, Brad, thank you so much for having me. If you want to find my music, find my page. The EP that we just released is called Old Soul. That's from my band, again, Saving Escape. You can find that. We're on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. Look up Saving Escape. You're going to find that. Go on Spotify. Look us up. You'll find that album. And then my personal page being Kayla Rose Official if you're wanting to see me on the side.
All right, and the band makeup is, you obviously are the lead singer. You have Jacob, lead guitar. You have Charlotte on bass and Alex on drums. I mean, how did you guys meet? You guys have such a good rapport with each other. You're fantastic on stage. How did you guys meet? How did the group develop?
Yeah, actually, this is a pretty funny story. So Jacob and Charlotte and I all went to the same music academy. And then in 8th grade, I was like, I really want to start this band. There's this really cute boy. He plays drums for this school band. So we're going to invite him over for band practice. So I had a huge crush on Alex.
That's so funny.
We invited him over. We had our first band practice. It was terrible. But then we stuck together, and now here we are 5 years later, and we're inseparable.
That's fantastic.
Do you still have a crush on the boy?
No, I do not.
It's
God,
over.
no.
It's strictly business
he's-
and professional now.
No, we're like brothers. That just brothers and sisters. That just be weird,
Yeah. How does the band get along? I mean, you guys have been together for a long time, but I would imagine that there's some difficult moments along the way. I mean, there's those brother-sister rivalries. I'm sure they spark up at times.
Oh yeah. Well, Charlotte and I have been best friends. We were best friends before the band, and we literally practically live together at this point. We're actually moving in together next year, and so we on our own bicker quite a lot. But then the boys are kind of in the same route. Like, they are pretty much siblings, so we're always button heads. But I mean, we work together beautifully. Like, I don't want people to think that because, we have this brother, sister, sibling rivalry all the time that it's like affecting the band in any way. It's not. It's kind of like an interesting dynamic. So, yeah.
Well, and Nick, this was the first time that you were able to see Kayla perform. I mean, that was pretty awesome. We saw Rhyme or Reason, and Revelation was the second song that we heard. But I mean,
It's time to tell this tale, old friend. My storybook has started to break and bend. Ain't
How would you describe that?
So I'm
Nick?
generally unimpressed with lots of things, and I got chills while I was filming. So
thank
I thought it was
Wow.
excellent. I know
Thank
Brad actually
you.
knows I'm like not
It's
lying if I'm
so
saying that.
Nick is like the hardest person to impress. To say that he got chills, that is a massive compliment.
Well, thank you so
Yeah,
much.
so I could just tell while you were singing how much you were into the song.
Yeah.
Like eyes closed, just like deep, like I'm the only person here.
Mhm.
So that was, and then it sounded great. It was really, really good.
Yeah, well, thank you. One of the things that I do when I'm performing is a lot of people think that when you're performing a show that you're performing for everybody else in the room, but the reality of the situation is that I'm not doing anything but performing for myself, and I think that in turn that's why people are drawn to the band. It's because we're really not trying to put on a show for other people. We're trying to make an experience that, you know, we can enjoy, and then in turn other people can experience that with us. So when you're saying like I have my eyes closed on stage, I'm not paying attention to anybody else, it's just because I feel like I need to feel it the most first, and then in turn everybody else is going to be able to feel that with me.
Yeah, no, that makes perfect sense.
Well, it comes off so natural. Like it just seems like you were born to be on a stage singing. So like how long have you known that? Were you 2 years old and singing?
When I was 3 years old, I used to dance around in the house in every which way, just singing as a little kid. And then finally my mom was like, you know, I feel like this isn't just like a little thing. Like this is definitely something we need to start having her do professionally. And so then I started taking guitar lessons with the music school. And then it just kind of developed, and now like I don't see myself doing anything else.
And then like on your page when I'm reading about you, it sounds like the O'Keefe Music Foundation was a pretty like big part of your music career, especially early on.
Oh, yeah.
And then Josh Cole also worked with you a lot on guitar. And then I don't know if this is more recently, but Brett Manning is a vocal coach who is very well known in the industry.
Yeah.
So maybe how have people along the way kind of helped push you and really help you to kind of find your sound and your maturity as a singer?
Yeah, well, definitely starting with the music academy, I was just absolutely terrified going on stage as a kid, and then they definitely helped me blossom. But Josh Cole, my guitar teacher, he is the most influential musician in my life for sure, because he kind of taught me that, like I was telling you earlier, it's not about anybody else. It's about doing it for you and performing because it's you expressing yourself. And then Brett Manning, we finally decided it was time to get to a point where you know, I could sing, but I couldn't sing to my fullest potential. I needed to know how to maximize my voice, work on breathing patterns, work on all different stuff, so that way I can, if I go on the road for 2 months, my voice isn't going to be lost after 2 weeks. So, so just to help me kind of build a stronger foundation for that.
So the breathing patterns, is that something you do prior to singing, or is it like throughout the whole time that you're performing, you're thinking about it?
So it's actually really difficult. I found out I've been singing wrong my entire life. So your breathing is extremely important. If you don't get your breathing pattern right while you're performing, that's why you lose your energy. That's why your voice starts to go out. Not only that, but they were telling me that I was singing in my throat when in reality I need to be pushing, it sounds crazy, but I need to be pushing all of my air down and projecting outwards.
Okay.
And it sounds really crazy. If I tried to explain it to you, you'd probably look at me like I was insane. But there's a lot more that goes into singing than people realize.
So I've seen like the crazy exercises where you put like something on the wall and you try to like hold it on the wall for like an extended period of time. Did you do anything?
She's looking at you like you're
all
crazy.
right, I guess I'm trying. Did you do anything crazy like that?
I haven't done anything like that, but I do some pretty weird vocal exercises. Like one of the ones that I do, which people think is like really insane, is you want to get into your vocal fry, so you start really high and then you get really low. You go meow, and you go over and over again. You're doing all these things. Like another one, like you'll be like ba ba ba, and you're making all these really harsh noises. And like if somebody just saw me standing around, like if I did that in public, people would genuinely think I'm crazy.
I think Nick and I should try one. So which one should we try? Should we try
I
the?
don't understand the meow part.
Let's try it one more time. Have Nick do the meow.
Meow.
So you start normal, you get really, really high, and really low.
And then you get the vocal fry as you come back
you
down.
For this, Brad.
I don't know what that was.
Meow.
Yes, see,
That was
exactly.
so good, Nick. You have a talent.
Except that you want to do it like 20 times in a row, but
All
I don't
right.
think that we're gonna do
my
that
face
today.
is too red.
All right, it's my turn. I'm gonna do. I don't want to. Let me do something other than the meow. What was the other
Okay,
one?
let's see. Well, but you just don't want to be embarrassed. You're like, let
I'll
me
do-
do something.
Do you want me to do the
yes,
meow?
I do. I want to hear
All
it.
right, let me hear you do it one more time.
Meow.
Oh man! All right. Meow. It sounded like a cow was coming
I
out.
think that you need to get in a lesson with Brett. I think
God,
that
man.
is the conclusion to this.
Was that really bad? That was not
That
good,
was-
huh?
that was pretty brutal.
Everyone around, you can't see this off camera, but everyone around here is laughing at Brad pretty hard right now.
See, I did not want to do the meow for that reason because I knew that was going to
So
be
You
what
do.
does
terrible.
that do? That just helps you open up to be able to hit the notes that you need to hit later?
So, yeah, and also with the vocal fry, you're starting higher, you're working your way lower. With that vocal fry, it's actually helping smooth out all of the kinks in your voice, because you actually, there's a lot of different steps to your voice when you're going from like your chest voice to your head voice to your mixed voice. There's places where you're going to break. And so when you're working with that vocal fry, you're working with coming from the high end to coming down low. It helps to smooth over those transitions. So that way you're not, having a total break in the middle of your set.
That's interesting. Things I would never ever think about.
Yeah.
So you obviously have a natural ability to sing, but then there's these little
There's
things that you can pick up along the way to like increase your talent. But how much is too much? Like you don't want to be thinking too much on stage either.
No, I mean, you don't want to be thinking too much on stage, and it does definitely get hard because, like, you want to do everything, like I said, to the maximized potential, so that way you're salvaging your voice because you don't want to give it your all right away, but then at the same time, you do want to give it your all. So it's kind of hard to find that middle ground, but honestly, I think that the main thing is practicing, having your vocal exercises beforehand, so that way you're just ready when you get up there, because I honestly don't even think about it. I'm probably doing a bunch of things I shouldn't be doing when I'm on stage, but my mind is not, it's way up in the clouds at that point. I'm just not even there. So, yeah.
So what are the nerves like?
The nerves. I guess it depends. I don't really get nerves a lot of times anymore. I used to. I will say the last time that I had nerves was before our EP release show in January, when we performed our release party for the album we just released. And that was just because I knew that everybody there was there to see the band, and they weren't there to see another band, and we were opening for them, which is how it usually goes. But I kind of just realized, like, hey, these people are here to see me. They're very passionate about my music. They like my music. They're here because they care about us. And so that kind of helped me cure that those nerves in that sense. But on a regular basis, I think I've just kind of gotten to the point where it's like, you know what? I have nothing to lose. If these people don't like me, then don't listen to my music again. Like, it's that simple.
So like prior to the show, are you quiet? Like prior to going on stage and you're trying to like get in your zone or your element? It does not sound like that is you at all from what I'm seeing.
I mean, there are times when I'm like, okay, I need a minute to myself. But normally it's the exact opposite. I'm trying to get my energy before I even get on stage. Because you don't want to get on stage and then have to build your energy up, get into it while you're on set, because your first song, you want to draw people in right from the get-go. So like Charlotte and I are literally like blaring music, dancing around the green room, like singing, having a good time. I'm sure so many like vocal coaches, if anybody's listening, that's like, really anal about music, they probably hate that I do this because I probably should be resting, but I don't think it's good for the mental state to just kind of like sit and have your calm compose.
So wait, what do you listen to?
I actually don't listen to a lot of rock music when we're prepping for shows. Recently, Charlotte and I have been getting into a lot of 90s rap. And so
wow,
like some
interesting.
really like old school hip hop and stuff. That's the type of stuff that
90s
gets
is
me
old
hyped
school,
up.
huh?
Like
So-
old school hip
I
hop.
mean, 90s is old school.
I know, it just makes me feel bad.
Yeah, yeah. Anybody in particular right now that you're enjoying?
I really so Biggie is like my favorite. I know that Biggie's like really stereotypical, but recently I've been
For
really
a
getting
reason.
into for a reason. Biggie is wonderful, juicy, hypnotize, all that's just, it's all good. But Wu-Tang Clan.
Yes.
Love
Wow.
Wu-Tang. Love Wu-Tang. So
Good for you.
I listen to
Yeah.
Wu-Tang all the time.
I would not have expected that.
Not
not a lot
Definitely
of
not
people
what I
would. Not a lot of people would, but I do listen to pretty much every genre. So
Okay, well, I have 5 questions. These are actually prepared questions for you. Okay,
Oh.
we have asked every artist these 5 questions throughout your last
Mhm.
interview, so 6th interview of the series. So, are you prepared for these questions?
I don't know.
They're
Should I
not-
be nervous?
I don't think they're going to be hard.
No, they're not bad. Okay, so if somebody, this is question 1, but
Mhm.
if somebody had never listened to your music before and you had one song that you're like, this is the one I want you to listen to before you listen to the rest of what I have here, what would that song be for you?
Probably Revelation, which was the song that I just played for
Perfect.
you. Definitely the full band version. I'd be like, this is the album. Listen to this song. But it encaptures so much of who we are in that song because it starts out really slow and intimate. And I didn't play it, but the ending of that song is just like, it's supposed to be super chaotic. And so it just kind of gives a good mixture of our different sounds.
Well done. All right, question 2. Okay, if you could perform with or see any band, musician, artist, dead or alive, who would that person be for you? You said Wu-Tang Clan earlier, so
No.
excluding Wu-Tang Clan, who would that be
No,
for
it
you?
should definitely be
I don't
Wu-Tang.
think
but-
I don't think that Saving Escape would be a good opener for Wu-Tang. However, that would be a lot of fun. But honestly, which I'm sure that this doesn't come as a surprise to people that know me already, but Led Zeppelin. If I could play with Led Zeppelin, I would die.
What are your thoughts on Greta Van Fleet? They have a lot of similarities.
Oh, the sigh, the deep sigh.
All I'll say is I have a lot of respect for them, and I'm really glad that they're bringing rock and roll music back into the mainstream media.
There you go. They're from my hometown, so you got to be careful here.
Oh, yeah.
That
All
was
right.
an excellent politically correct
Frankenmuth.
answer.
That's,
Smooth.
that's right.
You're from Michigan?
Yeah, yeah.
didn't know
Frankenmuth,
that.
Michigan.
Oh, wow,
Shout out
that's
to the
interesting.
Eagles.
He's actually in the Hall of Fame now of Frankenmuth.
Seriously?
Of the well, not of Frankenmuth.
Oh.
No. I don't know if I'm not in the Frankenmuth one. I'm in the Saginaw County Hall of Fame.
Oh, the
Oh.
county.
Yeah, I'm in the County Hall of Fame. Yeah.
Congratulations.
Happened on Sunday. I'm a Hall of Famer. Well, I was a basketball player.
Oh,
You
okay,
probably
okay.
yeah. It was
She
in
had
the
no
90s.
clue.
You
In
know,
the
way
90s.
back, way back.
Back in the old
No,
school.
not in the 90s. 2013 was my last year. It wasn't that long ago. Okay. Question 3 and
Mhm.
4. This is a 2-part question.
Okay.
But what was your lowest moment as a musician, and then what has been your best moment?
I would say my lowest moment, we played at a bar in Hamilton, and I had lost my voice.
Hmm.
And I had tried to get a hold of the band that we were opening for, and we were like, listen, like, I can't sing this show. Like, if you really need me there, obviously we'll come and we'll try. And they were like, well, you know, like, you should just come and do it anyways. And it was like the most humiliating moment for me. I remember just getting off stage, going immediately to my car and just crying to my mom because I was so embarrassed. And after that, I didn't want to play live for a while because it was just like one of those moments where it's like, I don't want to show my face
Yeah, it
after
could be
this.
traumatizing.
But I would say, like, going back to our EP release show, that was one of the first times I really opened up as a musician. Prior to that, I would get nervous going on stage. I get nervous about speaking to people. That's been probably one of my biggest things to kind of get over is the speaking aspect and having a personality on stage.
Mhm.
And once I finally was able to play for a crowd on like a serious stage and have it be people coming to listen to me, I kind of realized, like, you know what? I'm going to say what I need to say. I'm going to do what I want to do. And that's just how it's going to be. And so I kind of like, I went from down here and now we're up here.
Preach.
Yeah. Well, because you go play on stage, but then telling the backstory and then
Mhm.
saying what you want to say in between songs, that probably takes, a little bit, I don't want to say a different talent,
Yeah.
but it takes a mindset on your end to be able to accomplish that.
Yeah, it definitely does. And at the same time, like, the issue kind of comes where I can get into my music immediately. The first song, I can be into it with my whole heart, but as soon as it stops, the music's gone and I don't have my 4 best friends behind me backing me up. And I realize that it's all on me to have to speak a certain way, to connect with people in a certain way. That used to be daunting. But then I realized that, you know, I'm singing exactly what I want to sing about. I'm going to talk about what I want to talk about. If there's something that I think there's a problem, I'm going to speak about it. I'm going to connect with people in the way that I need to. And so kind of just have to get in the mindset of it doesn't matter what anyone else thinks. And then you can kind of go from there.
Well said.
I agree with that in life.
Yeah. I feel like this kind of goes into our next question, and this is the last one out of the 5, so
Okay.
you're not sweating yet. You look like you're relatively comfortable here. But what advice would you have for a younger musician? Maybe someone that's like 8 years old, 7 years old, 10 years old, kind of just starting on their music journey as a singer, as a musician, as a producer, composer. What kind of advice would you give to them?
Like I just said, there are few reasons. Well, there are many reasons why people are doing music, they're performing. It's a way to express yourself. So what I would say to somebody is never lose sight of the fact that you're doing this because you love to do it. If you're a musician, it's because you want to express yourself. You have the opportunity to be creative in a way that's so unique and so special, and do exactly the way you want to do it, and don't let anybody else's opinion shape your creative self. It's only you that can do that.
Well said again. I mean, you're spot on right now.
I do have one more question I'm going to add.
Yeah.
So what's the end goal for you? Do you have one?
The end goal, I mean,
You're
obviously
very young to have a necessary end goal, but...
Well, the end goal, ideally, would be to be able to do this for a living, that this is my number one career. But at the same time, I don't think necessarily there's an end goal to being a musician, because like I said, the reason I'm doing this is because it's the best way for me to express myself. So I guess the end goal is to just be as comfortable in my skin as possible and have people that can connect with me on that level.
Love it.
All right. Well, you were pretty good, so thanks for your time. All right, and we always end with the same question every time on the Be Different podcast. Unless, Nick, you want to throw one more in there?
No, we can end.
We can end here? All right. Well, we're called the Be Different podcast, and our goal is to connect with local community leaders that are kind of pushing their passion in their art, and we feel like you're obviously making that happen, and you put it on display today. So what is it about you and Saving Escape that makes you guys different?
I would just say that what makes us different is the fact that we are trying to put out a sound that's unique to everything. I mean, we definitely are a rock and roll band, but we include funk into it. We include so many different genres. Like, the boys are getting really into psychedelics, so we've kind of created...
Oh.
Well, psychedelic music is just great. Like King Gizzard and the Wizard Lizard.
I didn't realize you meant music. Sorry.
Oh.
I was just like, wow, just really putting that out there.
No, like psychedelic music, but we have created...
There's no going back.
Sorry.
We've created a unique sound, and I think that something else that kind of sets us apart from a lot of people is the fact that we're trying to connect with people in a way, we're trying to express ourselves, be creative. We want people to be able to follow us on that journey. So, yeah.
All right. And upcoming events that are coming up on your end? I know this won't be coming out until probably the Wednesday prior to Thanksgiving. So I don't know if you can think that far ahead or to December and January.
Yeah, I know that we are playing, I think it's the 22nd, we're going to be playing down in Chicago. I don't know the venue off the top of my head. And then I think it's Tuesday the 26th, we're going to be playing at Cosmic Charlie's in Lexington. So those are going to be our shows for November. If you want to see more, though, you can always check out, like I said, our Instagram, our Facebook. We post about all of those. So you can see a little bit more in advance, because I'm honestly the band member that they're like, okay, Kayla, today's the show, and I show up.
There you go.
Love it.
All right, well, thank you, Kayla, for coming in today.
Thank you.
And,
thank you for coming.
Well, thank you, Nick Given, for coming on, because it has been a while since you have graced your presence on this channel. And
I'm just glad that the people got to hear my voice.
Yeah.
Really.
I'm glad they got to hear you meow. I'm glad they got to experience that.
I am not glad that people heard me meow.
I'm so excited to hear that.
Absolutely horrendous. I am embarrassed, and we may have to put this podcast in the basement because of that. So, for Nick Given, Kayla Rose, and Brad Redford, and the Be Different podcast, Greg Wichard, of course, we're out of here.
Thank you.